A canon version of Jorus C'baoth will be in the live-action adaptation of Heir to the Empire, and we've already met his canon counterpart almost 5 years ago. The Ahsoka show ended with Grand Admiral Thrawn back in the original galaxy about to land on Dathomir. And this final scene for the Big Blue Meanie perfectly sets up a live-action adaptation of Heir to the Empire. However, with Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, Ezra Bridger, and now even Sabine Wren, Thrawn seems to be a little bit outnumbered when it comes to Force wielders. But in the Legends trilogy Heir to the Empire, Thrawn has a cloned version of Luke Skywalker and a cloned version of an ex-Jedi Master, Jorus C'baoth. So stick around till the end of this video to see why I am 99.999% sure that Malicos from Jedi Fallen Order is the canon version of Jorus C'baoth and what this means for this canon version of the Heir to the Empire trilogy. So first of all, who the f*** is Jorus C'baoth? So everything I'm about to tell you about this character is from Legends, meaning it does not exist in canon Star Wars. Jorus was a Jedi Master during the time of the Republic and died during the war. However, he was cloned by Palpatine on a planet known as Wayland, which happens to be the home of the location which we most recently saw in the Bad Batch Season 2, known as Mount Tantiss. In Legends, Palpatine uses Mount Tantiss to create Force-sensitive clones, including Jorus C'baoth. However, when they create a Force-sensitive clone, they usually don't come out right in the head, and Jorus is the perfect example of that. He loses his mind and kills everybody in Mount Tantiss, taking the entire mountain for himself and ruling over the local people on Wayland. Now, in the Heir to the Empire novels, the Legend novels, Thrawn comes to Mount Tantiss, finds Jorus C'baoth, and recruits him to his army. This is all with the intent of taking down the New Republic, very similar to what we're seeing in canon. Recruiting Jorus gives Thrawn the upper hand in this war, having a Force-sensitive on his side when he has to fight against Luke Skywalker or Leia Organa. However, in canon right now, there is no Force-sensitive to go up against Ahsoka or Ezra or Luke, at least not yet. And this brings us to Taron Malicos. Now, who the hell is Taron Malicos? Well, he's a new character that was introduced to the Star Wars canon in Jedi Fallen Order. This game saw Jedi Cal Kestis go on an adventure, and eventually it led him to Dathomir. But Malicos has a very similar backstory to Jorus C'baoth. Malicos was a Jedi Master during the time of the Republic, and during Order 66, he narrowly escapes his clones that were attacking him because he was in his starfighter outside of the planet of Dathomir, and he managed to shoot all of his clone troopers down and crash into the planet nearby. However, his troubles did not end there. Malicos was captured by the local Night Brothers and held as a prisoner. Now, what's a Night Brother? We've heard of the Night Sisters. They're the magic wielders that we see in the Ahsoka show. We've seen them in the Clone Wars. But Night Brothers also exist on Dathomir. Two very familiar Night Brothers that you'll recognize are Darth Maul and Savage Opress. Now, Malicos lands on Dathomir after all the Night Sisters have already been wiped out by General Grievous, so the only real threat that exists on this planet now are the Night Brothers, and he gets captured by them. Malicos eventually escapes the capture and kills the leaders of the Night Brothers. And because of his strength in the Force and the fact that he just killed their leader, the other Night Brothers follow him. However, there is a tomb on Dathomir of Kujet, the Zepho Sage. Now, the Zepho are a whole nother thing, but they're an ancient species that used to rule over Dathomir. And their last leader, Kujet, who is very, very strong with the dark side of the Force, has his body entombed there. So the dark side is just oozing out of this planet. And Malicos, being there for so long, begins to fall more and more and more to the dark side. And after 5 years of being on Dathomir by himself with only the Night Brothers and the dark side creeping up on him, Cal Kestis arrives. A young Jedi who is easily susceptible to the dark side, Malicos tries to turn Cal multiple times. Cal denies the dark side, and this ends up with a fight between Cal Kestis and Taron Malicos, which Cal would have lost if it wasn't for the interference of a Night Sister named Merrin. Now, just like the Jedi who were supposed to all be extinct after Order 66, a few survived. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, and many others. But the same thing happened with the Night Sisters. When General Grievous came in and slaughtered all of them, a few of them survived. Morgan Elsbeth is one example in the Ahsoka show, but Merrin is another. So here's where things get really interesting. Malicos doesn't get killed by Cal Kestis or Merrin. Merrin buries him alive on Dathomir. Now, Malicos has survived a crash onto this planet, being captured and tortured by the Night Brothers on this planet, and slowly being brought more to the dark side. And let's not forget that the Night Brothers worship him and would probably find him eventually. So I think it's very likely that Malicos could have survived this. If they didn't want him to survive this, they would have just chopped his head off or killed him in some way in Jedi Fallen Order. But they didn't. They buried him alive. And very similar to Jorus C'baoth, who took over all of Mount Tantus and ruled over the people on Wayland, Malicos took over Dathomir and ruled over the Night Brothers, both people unknowingly waiting for Thrawn's arrival. So just like Thrawn arrived at Mount Tantus and recruited Jorus C'baoth, Thrawn is showing up to Dathomir right now, possibly and unknowingly recruiting Taron Malicos, a canon version of Jorus, who is a dark Jedi who went insane. These two characters are way too similar. They were both Jedi Masters at one point. They now have fallen to the dark side and gone insane on this planet that they've taken over and rule over the people on that planet. And not only that, Grand Admiral Thrawn in both cases arrives at their planet. And if Thrawn does recruit Malicos to his army, it will change the tides of the war, especially with Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, and Ezra Bridger and other Force users on the good guys. Thrawn's gonna need himself a badass Force user like Malicos. And not only that, I think Cal Kestis and Merrin are coming to live action very soon. And how amazing would the payoff be of their reactions to seeing Malicos still alive working with Grand Admiral Thrawn? The rematch would be over 20 years in the making. But tell me what you think in the comment section below. Do you think Taron Malicos is our canon version of Jorus C'baoth? Honestly, I think the connections are just way too similar to be something else. And the fact that you play as Cal Kestis and defeat Malicos in Jedi Fallen Order, but you don't kill him, when we've seen Cal Kestis kill countless villains in that game, this is the one that you keep alive?
Coincidence? I think not!
But tell me what you think in the comment section below. Smash a like on this video if you liked it. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. We go live on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And shout out to Cappy for coming up with this theory in one of those live chats. So come by those live streams. They're a lot of fun. And if you want more, go check out this video I just did explaining finally what's really in those crates at the end of Ahsoka.